podcast. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of health and wellness.
Absolutely.
Today, we're tackling a topic that's close to all of our hearts, I think.
Yeah.
Common health mistakes and the evidence-based solutions that you might not hear from your average doctor.
Right.
So we're going beyond those surface-level tips.
Yeah.
And really understanding the why behind the what.
The why behind the what.
When it comes to your health.
Well,
Now, we've got
okay.
some fascinating source material that encourages us to think critically about our health, questioning diagnoses that don't feel quite right, and becoming active participants in our own well-being.
Yeah, that's so important.
It's like having a cheat sheet
Right.
for a life-changing health
For
transformation.
a life-changing health transformation.
One of the things that really jumped out at me from the source material was this whole idea of stress.
Oh, yeah.
And they talk about it as not just a fleeting feeling, but something that can literally embed itself in our minds and bodies, disrupt our sleep, keep us in a constant state of fear.
Yeah. You know, that fight or flight mode
Oh, yeah.
we hear so much about.
It's like stress becomes this invisible enemy lurking in the background, sabotaging our health
Yeah.
without us even realizing it.
Absolutely.
So what can we actually do
Yeah.
to combat this sneaky villain?
Well, the source suggests something pretty intriguing.
Okay.
Changing our environment.
Oh, interesting.
They talk about the therapeutic benefits of moving from a bustling city to a more rural setting, highlighting how being surrounded by nature can really significantly reduce stress levels.
So being out of the concrete jungle
Getting out of the concrete junk.
and
Yeah.
into more of a natural setting.
Absolutely. Even something as simple as a daily walk in the park can make a difference.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I could definitely relate to that whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed. A dose of nature always seems to reset my mental state.
Right.
But they don't stop there, do they?
No, they don't.
They also talk about the importance of exercise
Yeah.
for flushing out those stress hormones.
Yes. But they suggest a specific type of exercise.
Okay.
Wave-like.
Ways like.
Intermittent activity,
Right.
rather than those grueling, sustained workouts that many of us are used to.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are guilty of that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So instead of pushing ourselves to the limit every single workout,
Right.
we should be aiming for a more sustainable approach
More sustainable.
that works with our bodies instead of against them.
Absolutely.
It's like finding that sweet spot
Yes.
where we challenge ourselves without completely depleting our energy reserves.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've got environment, we've got exercise covered.
Mm-hmm.
What about nutrition?
Uh-huh.
This is where the source really dives into some fascinating details.
Oh, yeah.
They start by talking about vitamin D, and they're claiming that it influences a huge portion of our genes, and that many of us might need much higher doses than we realize.
Right? They're talking about doses between 10,000 and 50,000 IU, which is significantly higher than what you might hear from your doctor.
Yeah, that's a lot higher than what I've heard.
Right.
And they link this higher intake to potential therapeutic effects for conditions like autoimmune diseases, glaucoma, and even fibroids.
Right.
Wow, that's a pretty bold claim.
It is.
I'm curious, though, what about potential downsides? Should we all be rushing out to get mega doses of vitamin D?
Well, as with any major change to your health regimen, it's always best to consult with your doctor first.
Yeah, definitely.
But it definitely highlights the need to question what we think we know about certain nutrients and to be open to exploring different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of questioning what we know,
Yeah.
the source also drops a bombshell about magnesium.
Really?
Apparently, most of us are walking around deficient in this vital mineral.
Yeah.
And here I was thinking I was doing pretty well with my diet.
Right. It's easy to assume we're getting all the nutrients we need, but the reality is that many of us fall short. And magnesium is particularly crucial because it plays a role in over 300 enzymatic processes in the body,
Wow.
impacting everything from heart health and energy production to muscle function and blood sugar control.
You're telling me
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely experienced those afternoon energy slumps and could probably use a boost in that department.
Right.
So magnesium is clearly a VIP nutrient we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
And they also mentioned the importance of zinc, right?
Yes, absolutely. Zinc works synergistically with both vitamin D and magnesium
Oh, wow.
to support immunity and overall well-being.
So it's like they form this powerhouse trio
Powerhouse trio.
that keeps our systems running smoothly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got our all-star team of nutrients,
Uh-huh.
vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc.
Yes.
But what are the nutrients we might want to be wary of?
Right.
The source gets a bit controversial
A
here,
little bit.
challenging some conventional wisdom about calcium and iron.
So they warn that excess calcium, especially when magnesium levels are low, can actually clog the system instead of strengthening bones like we've always been told.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
And then they go on to highlight the potential toxicity of iron overload, suggesting we avoid iron supplements unless they're absolutely necessary.
Right, unless they're absolutely necessary.
So it's all about balance, right?
Yes.
Getting the right amount of each nutrient and being mindful of potential downsides.
Right.
Now let's move on to a few other surprising claims that caught my eye.
Okay.
They recommend using sea salt instead of table salt
Interesting.
and emphasize the importance of potassium,
Okay.
like a lot more than most people consider.
Yeah, a lot more.
So they argue that sea salt, with its wider array of minerals, can actually help balance cortisol levels.
Interesting.
And they highlight the recommended daily intake of potassium, which is a whopping 4,700 milligrams.
Wow.
That's more than twice what many people get.
That's a lot.
And considering it's crucial for energy levels, muscle function, and overall health, it's worth paying attention to.
It is.
Wow, I definitely need to up my potassium game.
Yeah.
And here's another curveball. They're actually advocating for cholesterol.
Really?
I thought that was public enemy #1 in the world of nutrition.
That's a common misconception.
Is it?
Cholesterol is essential for hormone production and is found in many nutrient-dense foods like butter, eggs, and shellfish.
Oh, okay.
The key is to choose healthy sources and consume them in moderation as part of a balanced diet.
So it's not about demonizing an entire nutrient, but understanding its role and finding that balance.
Exactly, finding that balance.
Okay, so we've covered some surprising twists and turns in the world of nutrition.
We have.
Busted a few myths along the way.
Yeah.
But now let's dive into the source's specific dietary recommendations.
Okay.
They start by suggesting a reduction in sugar and starch intake, which seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But then they go on to advocate for prioritizing protein and limiting meal frequency to just 2 meals a day.
2 meals a day.
So they emphasize the hidden dangers of excess carbohydrates, even those that seem healthy.
Right.
They advocate for prioritizing protein, especially from nutrient-dense sources like grass-fed beef, lamb, and even organ meats.
Organ meats.
Like cod liver,
Wow.
which might sound a bit out there, but it's packed with essential nutrients.
Okay.
And the recommendation to limit meal frequency to 2 meals a day aims to reduce insulin spikes, which they claim is a root cause of many chronic illnesses.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just what we eat, but when we eat.
And how often?
And how often. It's about giving our bodies a break from constantly digesting food and allowing our systems to reset.
Right.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive, from the power of nature and the surprising truth about cholesterol to the importance of magnesium and the potential downsides of excess calcium. It's a lot to digest, but hopefully it's given you some food for thought, pun intended.
Pun intended.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll continue exploring these concepts and unpack even more fascinating insights from the source.
Yeah, this is great. You know, as we continue this deep dive, one of the most fascinating takeaways for me is how interconnected our bodies truly are.
Yeah.
We often think of, different systems as
Right.
separate entities, but in reality, they're all working together in this intricate dance of health and well-being.
Yeah.
And one of the most intriguing aspects of this hidden world is the gut microbiome.
The gut microbiome.
That complex ecosystem of bacteria living in our digestive tracts.
Okay.
Think of it like a rainforest teeming with, diverse species, each playing a crucial role in maintaining the overall health of the ecosystem.
Okay.
And when we disrupt that delicate balance, say with unnecessary antibiotic use, it can have ripple effects throughout the entire system.
So those fermented foods, we hear so much about sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt.
Yes.
They're like little reinforcements. Introducing beneficial bacteria to help maintain a healthy gut environment.
Exactly. It's like tending to a garden, nurturing the good bacteria that contribute to our overall well-being.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
And this ties back to the source's emphasis on seeking out whole natural foods as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's about providing our bodies with the building blocks they need to thrive.
It's not just about what we eat, though, is it?
No.
It's also about what we avoid.
What we avoid.
And the source really challenges some conventional wisdom here.
Yeah.
Especially with their warnings about excess calcium and iron.
It's so easy to get caught up in those health halos surrounding certain nutrients.
Oh, yeah.
We hear that calcium is good for strong bones.
Right.
Iron is essential for energy.
Right.
So we assume more is always better.
More is always better. That's kind of how we're conditioned.
Right. But the source highlights the potential downsides of overdoing it.
Right? It's almost like they're saying, hey, let's not just blindly follow the crowd. Let's think critically about these recommendations and consider the potential downsides.
And consider the potential downsides.
Yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot where we're getting enough of what we need without tipping the scales in the wrong direction.
You're tipping the scales.
And that brings up a really important question. How do we navigate all the conflicting information out there
Right.
and make informed choices about our health?
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming, especially when you have experts touting opposing views.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces.
With missing pieces.
But the source reminds us that we have a powerful tool at our disposal.
Yes.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
It's about finding reliable sources,
Hmm.
questioning things that don't feel right, and ultimately becoming active participants in our own health journey.
We can't just blindly follow someone else's prescription for health.
Yeah.
We need to be our own advocates experiment and figure out what works best for our individual bodies.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between expert advice, personal research, and intuition.
Absolutely.
Listening to our bodies and noticing how different foods and lifestyle choices make us feel,
And being patient.
being patient.
Health isn't a quick fix. It's an ongoing journey, a lifelong process of learning, adapting, and fine-tuning our approach as we go.
I like that fine-tuning our approach as we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of fine-tuning our approach, let's revisit the source's recommendations for a healthy diet.
Okay.
They suggest limiting meal frequency to just 2 meals a day, which seems to go against everything we've been told about eating small, frequent meals throughout the day.
Right.
Why is that?
So the idea behind this approach is to reduce insulin spikes,
Oh, okay.
which the source links to a whole host of chronic illnesses.
Oh, wow.
By eating fewer, more substantial meals, we give our bodies a break from constantly digesting food
Mm-hmm.
and allow our blood sugar levels to stabilize.
So it's not just what we eat, but when we eat and how often.
Yeah, exactly. It's about understanding the rhythm of our bodies and working with those natural cycles.
That's a great point.
And that's what I find so fascinating about this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not just a list of rules to follow blindly.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding the why behind the what, empowering us to make informed choices that align with our individual needs and goals.
I'm really starting to see the bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about chasing quick fixes or following the latest fads. It's about developing a deeper understanding of how our bodies work and making choices that support our overall well-being in the long run.
Absolutely. And the source doesn't stop there.
Right.
They go on to talk about the crucial connection between stress, low vitamin D levels, and autoimmune issues.
Oh, wow.
It's like these seemingly disparate aspects of our health are all intertwined.
It's almost like stress is this master puppeteer,
That's a great analogy.
pulling the strings behind the scenes and influencing so many different aspects of our health.
That's a great analogy. And the source suggests that high doses of vitamin D combined with lifestyle changes to manage stress and support the immune system can actually play a significant role in managing these conditions.
So it's about taking a holistic approach, addressing the root causes,
Yeah.
rather than just trying to band-aid the symptoms.
Addressing the root causes.
It all circles back to that idea of interconnectedness we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not about treating individual symptoms in isolation.
Right.
It's about understanding how everything works together and supporting the whole system.
Exactly. And the gut microbiome plays a key role in this intricate web of health.
Yeah.
It's not just about digestion.
Right.
It's about immunity, mood regulation, even cognitive function.
It really is amazing how much we're learning about this hidden world within us and how much it influences our overall health and well-being. I'm definitely feeling inspired to take better care of my gut.
Me too. And it's not as complicated as it might seem, incorporating those fermented foods, limiting unnecessary antibiotic use. These are simple yet powerful steps we can take to support a healthy gut microbiome.
And when we support our gut, we're supporting our entire system, setting the stage for optimal health and vitality. We've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive, exploring the interconnectedness of our bodies, the power of critical thinking, and the fascinating world of the gut microbiome. It's clear that health is not a one-size-fits-all approach, and it's up to each of us to find what works best for our unique needs.
Absolutely. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, to learn, and to discover on our journeys toward optimal health.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into common health mistakes and evidence-based solutions. This has been an incredible journey full of surprising twists and turns, and I'm feeling truly energized to apply these insights to my own life. How about you?
Absolutely. It's amazing how much we've unpacked, isn't it? From challenging conventional wisdom about certain nutrients to exploring the fascinating world of the gut microbiome, we've really gone beyond the surface level
Yeah.
and gained a deeper understanding of what it truly means to be healthy.
One of the most powerful takeaways for me is this whole idea of taking a holistic approach to health.
Yes.
It's not about focusing on individual symptoms or isolated solutions.
Right.
It's about seeing our bodies as these interconnected systems and making choices that support our overall well-being.
The source really emphasizes that importance of addressing the root causes of health issues rather than just, masking the symptoms.
Yeah.
It's about creating sustainable change through our diet, our lifestyle, even our mindset.
And speaking of mindset, I was particularly struck by their comments on stress.
Oh, yeah.
They describe it as this pervasive force that can embed itself in our minds and bodies, affecting everything from our sleep to our hormones to our immune system.
It's almost as if stress is this hidden saboteur, quietly undermining our health without us even realizing it.
Yeah.
But the source also offers a solution,
Okay.
changing our environment.
Interesting.
They talk about the profound impact of moving from a bustling city to a more tranquil rural setting, highlighting the power of nature to calm our minds and reduce stress levels.
That makes you realize how much our surroundings can influence our well-being, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just about what we put into our bodies,
Right.
but also the environments we expose ourselves to.
Yeah.
Sometimes a change of scenery could be just what the doctor ordered.
Absolutely. And they also emphasize the importance of exercise.
Yeah.
But not just any type of exercise.
Right.
They advocate for a more natural wave-like approach, mimicking the rhythms of our bodies,
Okay.
with bursts of energy followed by periods of rest.
So it's like finding that sweet spot between challenging ourselves and honoring our body's need for recovery. It's about working with our natural rhythms rather than pushing ourselves to the limit all the time. And of course, we can't forget about nutrition.
Oh, yes.
We uncovered some real eye-openers in that department.
Yeah.
Like the fact that most of us are probably deficient in magnesium
Right.
and might need much higher doses of vitamin D than we thought.
Those were definitely surprising revelations for me, too. It's a reminder that we need to constantly be questioning what we think we know
Yeah.
and be open to new perspectives. The source also challenged some conventional wisdom about calcium and iron, suggesting that excess intake of these minerals can actually be detrimental.
It all boils down to
Yeah.
balance, right? Getting the right nutrients in the right amounts and being mindful of potential downsides. It's not about demonizing certain foods or nutrients, but understanding their roles and finding that sweet spot that works for our individual bodies.
And the source provides some really practical guidance for achieving that balance. Reducing sugar and starch intake, prioritizing protein from nutrient-dense sources, and even limiting meal frequency to just 2 meals a day to regulate insulin spikes.
Yeah, that 2 meals a day recommendation definitely raised some eyebrows.
I know.
But when they explained the logic behind it, giving our digestive systems a break and reducing insulin spikes, it actually made a lot of sense.
It's about understanding the why behind the what and making informed choices that align with our individual needs and goals. It's not about following a rigid set of rules, but finding what works best for us.
And that brings us back to the importance of listening to our bodies and being active participants in our health journey. We need to become our own advocates experiment and pay attention to how different foods and lifestyle choices make us feel.
Critical thinking is key. We need to be able to evaluate information, question assumptions, and make decisions that resonate with our intuition and our unique circumstances.
This deep dive has been all about empowering ourselves with knowledge and taking charge of our health. We've explored some fascinating concepts, challenged conventional wisdom, and hopefully sparked a desire to continue learning and growing.
And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
There's a vast world of knowledge out there waiting to be discovered. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep prioritizing your health. It's an investment that will pay dividends for years to come.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel inspired to take your health to the next level. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to HealthyCast for more deep dives into the world of health and wellness. And remember, your health is a lifelong adventure. Embrace the process, make informed choices, and enjoy